Good Morning Show starts now.
Happening now on GMS, companies and government agencies are unveiling new plans to address the baby formula shortage, but it'll take weeks for supply to return to normal.
Plus, investigators are combing through evidence linked to the man accused of shooting and killing 10 people at a supermarket in Buffalo, New York. Prosecutors are now working on bringing federal charges against him.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Good Morning Show. I'm Lenitra Bennett.
And I'm Rob Nucatola. I got lots of hot
of course.
to talk about in the forecast. It's going to be summer out there, you know?
Yeah, I kind of felt the difference yesterday. I said, oh, the change is coming. It's here.
Yeah, it is here,
the
and it's going to stick around. I've got plenty of time to break all that down for you. And maybe we can find some relief, maybe, in that forecast. We'll get to it in just a couple of minutes. First, we're going to begin in Tallahassee, where the retrial for the woman charged in Dan Markel's murder is now underway. Catherine McBanawa is accused in the murder for hire plot of FSU professor Dan Markel, who was shot outside his Benton Hills home in 2014.
She faces 3 charges, including first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and solicitation. If convicted, she could face life behind bars.
Yeah, the retrial coming nearly 6 years after her initial arrest. This time, she's on trial alone with a new judge on the bench.
Our Jacob Murphy sat on the proceedings yesterday as nearly 100 potential jurors were questioned.
Court's now in session. The Honorable Robert Wheeler presiding.
With the knock of a door, the retrial of Catherine McBanawa was underway. Judge Robert Wheeler addressing both the defense and prosecution that's been through all of this before.
The case set for trial today is the state of Florida versus Catherine McBanawa.
Soon, 50 potential jurors entered the courtroom. Just the first wave of several. The judge first addressing a big issue for the court.
This case has, at times, received a fair amount of publicity.
That a bit of an understatement, considering the national and international coverage ever since that July afternoon in 2014 when prominent FSU law professor Dan Markel was gunned down in his Benton Hills driveway.
This case involves the murder of Daniel Markel.
Lead prosecutor Georgia Kappelman sharing a brief summary, hinting at the names who may take the stand as witnesses and McBanawa's alleged role in it all.
It's alleged that this defendant was a member of a conspiracy to murder Markel, which included the family of his former wife and the people who traveled to Tallahassee to kill him.
But before the prosecution can make that argument and the defense gets their chance, the jurors went into the jury room one at a time, asked by the judge and attorneys what they know about the case, whether they've formed an opinion, and whether they can be impartial. The hours-long process repeated again in the afternoon with a second wave, as the court works to seat a group willing to spend the next few weeks weighing the evidence.
There are times when we call upon people to make serious sacrifices, and this is one of those times. Jury duty is one of those times.
Now, Jacob's saying about half of the potential jurors he saw heard of the case before, and a few of them saying they already formed an opinion.
Our trial analyst, Tallahassee-based defense attorney Joe Boterford, offered a surprising take when asked during yesterday's Eyewitness News at 5:30 whether or not the extensive media coverage of this case would make it more difficult to seat a jury.
I would think at this stage in the game it actually may be easier to find people because you've got a degree of transience here in Tallahassee between the university, the teaching jobs around the university, state government. People tend to come and go. So it is very likely that in the 8 years since the crime occurred that you could have a great degree of people that have gone on and new folks are here.
Besides the impact of the media coverage, Boterford also shared insight on what else attorneys want or need to know when they're choosing a jury. You can watch the entire interview on our website.
And WCTV will begin streaming the trial live once a jury is seated and opening statements begin. Now, we've been following this case since Markel's murder back in 2014. You can catch up on our coverage, the first trial, and all that's happened since right now on WCTV.tv.
Meanwhile, in South Georgia, week 2 of the Tara Greenstead murder trial now underway. Yesterday, the state resting its case against Ryan Duke. He's accused in her 2005 disappearance and death. The former beauty queen and high school teacher went missing from her Osceola home. She has never been found. The defense calling their first witnesses yesterday. Bo Dukes, who's already serving 25 years for covering up the crime, could also testify, although it's not clear when.
Now covering Gadsden County, a third suspect now behind bars in connection to the shooting death of a man in December. 20-year-old Roderick Gordon, now charged with first-degree murder and robbery with a firearm. He's the third person arrested in connection to the killing of 31-year-old Jermaine Rittman at a home on Hardin Avenue. Quincy PD saying it happened during a robbery in broad daylight. Rittman's mother speaking out yesterday saying she's found forgiveness.
To the suspect, I forgive you all for taking the life of my son, my only child's life, and taking him away from me and his kids. I forgive you, and I hope and pray that y'all find peace in Jesus.
Now, police are still searching for 2 additional suspects, including 24-year-old Tyrika Smith, who is considered armed and dangerous.
The time now 5:05. In Florida, a Leon County judge holds firm on his decision last week to stop the governor's congressional redistricting map from going into effect. The circuit judge had ruled the map unconstitutional and issued a temporary injunction to stop it. However, the state immediately appealed that ruling, which kept the map in place. Yesterday, the judge upholding his injunction, barring it from use during the upcoming November election.
I can tell you this, that debt will not end up going to any of these local governments. It's not going to go to the state government either. It's going to absolutely be dealt with the taxpayers who are currently in that district.
That's Governor Ron DeSantis yesterday making a promise that taxpayers will not take on Walt Disney World's debt when the Reedy Creek taxing district dissolves in 2023. The governor saying that debt currently stands at $766 million. Now, the governor didn't offer any details, but says he'll be working with legislative leaders to come up with a plan.
Covering Tallahassee, the city's south side is getting $500,000 for environmental projects. The goal is to identify and clean up areas that are contaminated. The money comes from the Environmental Protection Agency's Brownfields Assessment Grant. Alyssa Myers, the Director of Environmental Services, said the South Monroe Corridor in particular has some old dry cleaning facilities and gas stations which were built decades ago and may have contaminated the soil around them. This kind of contamination would need to be cleaned up before new development can come in. So the city will be using the $500,000 for that work. 2 priority sites are a proposed spot for the South City Foundation Early Learning Center on the corner of South Meridian and Orange Avenue and a nearby park. Meyer said addressing contamination is the first step toward the city's overall goal of revitalizing the South Side.
This will allow folks to take a chance on property that may otherwise not be suitable for redevelopment by assessing whether contamination exists or doesn't exist.
Myers hopes this will allow developers to create things like affordable housing or early learning centers that can improve the South Side community. All right, it is 5:08 right now, and let's check in with Rob to. It's getting hot out there, Rob.
It is.
That's all I can say.
We're into the second half of May now, so we're getting to that point in the year where we've got to expect it to start getting hot. Not getting a report from the Tallahassee airport right now, although the temperatures just about everywhere else are going to be in the low 70s this morning, so it's in the low 70s at the Tallahassee airport too. I do think by lunchtime we're going to be watching those temperatures shoot all the way up near 90. And daytime highs today are going to get into the 90s. We did get there yesterday for the 3rd time this month, and it's likely we're going to see that happen again today and tomorrow and Thursday and maybe Friday too, all depending on if we can get a couple of scattered showers. Now that boundary, maybe you see that thin line of a couple of sprinkles north of Jacksonville there. That's that boundary trying to get here, really not doing much for us. It may adjust the wind direction a little bit as we go through the day today. but I don't see any kind of widespread shower activity, which is really what our area could use. So instead, we've got the warm, we've got the muggy, and I don't expect a lot of changing. 70 right now in Bainbridge, 70 in Moultrie, it's 70 in Perry and in Live Oak. A little cooler for us in Thomasville or Quincy, where we're at 68 degrees this morning. Now, that breeze is trying to turn a little bit more northwest or west. That's going to be main direction for most of us throughout the day today, and that is usually one of our drier wind directions. Now, we can pick up a little sea breeze. If that breeze can shift more to the southwest like it was for a bigger chunk of yesterday, maybe that can help to generate a few more showers, but yesterday's rain chances weren't great, and they were the best ones this week. Our rain chances are going to get slimmer for today. Futurecast might be able to find a couple of isolated showers, but that's it. A lot of our area is going to go rain-free on our Tuesday and our Wednesday and probably our Thursday too. So not only do we have lots of thirsty lawns, gardens, and greens, but when we don't have those afternoon showers that we rely on this time of the year, boy, it gets hot and it stays that way for a while. The next 5 days, the rain chances really not impressive until hopefully Saturday afternoon, when a better shot for more scattered showers is back in the mix. But for these next couple of days, look at those afternoon temperatures. We hit 91 yesterday. It's going to get hotter these next couple of days.
The second season begins for Seminole softball plus high school baseball action. It's all coming up in Good Morning Sports.